I want to share this video with you because it's very important, you can say. We live in a world today, we live in a society, we live among other people, and it's all more or less running in a so-called beast mode, you can say. Who is the beast and what is the beast? That is the question, you can say. The beast is our, you can say, primitive way of thinking, our primitive way of reacting, our primitive emotions and way we treat ourselves and other people. The beast is really inside every one of us. It's our reptilian brain that only works in a dual mode, you can say. It's either attack or it's defense. So it is. There's only these two. It's either or. There's no diplomacy or something in between. The beast is really about energy, because when we are running in the reptilian brain, that means we are running in a low energy state. We are actually, you can say, disconnected from our true energy source. The challenge today is that society has been designed to run in the beast mode, and that most people really are in the beast mode, which we see with all the perversions, which we see with all the craziness going on in this world. But of course everything is as it was always meant to be. Everything is in total divine order, and everything is wonderful actually, though of course it should come more into balance, and that's where we are actually getting now. I keep coming back to three important words every time I have done a few hundred videos or so. I keep coming back to the same starting point, you can say, and the starting point is to know yourself. To know yourself, yeah. Oh, in Danish it's in 3 words, but of course it's only 2 in English. When we start to observe ourselves more, when we start to get a better self-knowledge, a better self-awareness, you can say, be more conscious about ourselves, when we start to reflect much more about ourselves, we get more energy. But the reason why so many people don't really evolve very much or develop very much is because the male side of the brain, the male hemisphere, the left side of the brain, or you can say the intellect, it does not want to confront itself because it's always right. It doesn't want to listen to the impulses that come from the feminine or female hemisphere of the brain, which is the right side of the brain. We need to have these connections going on between the 2 brain hemispheres to be able to come into harmony, to be able to really experience oneness and unity. Because when we talk about paradise, paradise is really a state of mind. Paradise is when we are in harmony with our brain hemispheres, and we are able to get impulses, you can say impulses from the divine, impulses from our higher self, from the field, from the infinite consciousness all around us. We can get the impulses, and then we can take the impulses into the left brain, and we can evaluate, we can find out what these impulses are about, and thereby become much more integrated in ourselves, into our wholeness, into our oneness, into our unity with all things that we really are. But we have become so separated in our thinking. We have actually been mind controlled a lot during our whole life, you can say. We have been influenced, we have been manipulated, so we actually think very wrong, most of us, most of the time. The beast, you can say, is the low energy state, and when we have the low energy state we will also have a lower quality mind, and that means that actually the fear stuff will come, and the lower negative energies, and so you can say that the beast is really our fear. But when we wish to defeat the beast and really want to defeat the beast and get over this, we have to start by looking at ourselves, because it's really our thinking is really the reflection we see in the world. Because when we start to get out of the reptilian brain, start to take more responsibility, the reptilian brain, of course the beast does not want to take responsibility, is always someone else that has to be blamed for the feelings, emotions we are feeling. the point here is just that I cannot control your emotions. I cannot create any emotions in you actually, because emotion comes from thinking. And that means that we have to really adjust the way we think. We can say all transformation is about thought processes, how we think. You know, the media, the education system and so on has always been telling us what to think, not how to think. And that's really the point when we are talking about the beast, because the beast is locking us into the left brain, and you can say the society, or the outer beast, so to speak, is really desperate to holding people, to suppressing people in the left brain, to keep people in the mental prison, you can say, the intellectual prison, where you discuss, debate and fight and all the time, I'm right, you're wrong. No, that's not the case actually. It's all about starting to understand why we react as we do, and why one day we say, oh, you are the only one for me in my life, and I love you and I care about you, and the next day, I can take responsibility for me, so I'm the beast, I have heard a lot of reactions from people in Denmark, and sometimes I even wonder, perhaps, I might just be Lucifer, or I might just be something a lot worse, because if I should be all the things that people tell me that I am, when they don't get what they would like to have, but if I don't satisfy their needs, and so, then I'm suddenly the beast, and that's exactly what switching of the brain is all about, because we live in a society today where everything has become wireless, and we have technology all around us, which we did not have for 20, 25, 30 years ago. And all these negative influences from these technologies are actually switching our brain. That means locking us into the primitive reptile brain, and we become locked into the rational intellect without connection to our right brain and our soul, the divine spirit, and so on. So we actually become half-brains, you can say. Therefore, it has become much more primitive, the whole society and the whole world, because we are actually not thinking straight anymore. We are locked into the infotainment show, you can say, but we don't do very much about it. So if we really want to defeat the beast, we have to really confront ourselves, because it gives more energy when we start to look at ourselves and start to take responsibility and say, hey, Julius, what are you doing that's not so great? Yes, well, I know what I'm reacting on and why I'm reacting, but I'm also, in a way, very aware about what is going on, and that's also why I sometimes do it, because, you have to also protect your light, because a lot of people are trying to tap into your energy, tap into your light, and drain you actually, because you suddenly become mixed up in all this thinking stuff and debating and conflicts and so, but it's not about that. It's really about that we start now to create, you can say, the unity within, as a combine our brain hemispheres, get to have the whole brain again, to have the connections running, and then open up in the heart, so we can be what we truly are, because we are not those little beings, we are not those little weak beings, and so we are so much powerful. We have all we need within, because God is really within us, and we are in God actually. This is also what this symbol is doing. Actually, now I have got this pendant that actually illustrates everything that I'm talking about. Always we have above and we have below, and we have to be centered in the middle, in our center, and that is really our solar plexus. That's the point where we have below and above meeting, and solar plexus is all about knowing ourselves really.